You can't stop a human being who's a fighter when their mind is made up. And because these individuals are programmed from birth, and then when you implement the skills that it requires to have and develop a style of boxing, then you're an entirely different animal. The only thing you need now is to have a pilot, and that trainer is a pilot. And I want you guys to take a listen to this. This comes directly from yours truly himself, Iron Mike Tyson.
No one could ignite me like 𝗕𝗏𝗵𝗀.
Right.
It's totally different. You couldn't. It's just different. It was so emotional involved.
Do you think it would be possible if you met a young man that reminded you of yourself when you?
What I'm explaining to you right here in this video is the greatest killer inside of the boxing ring has a method of explaining to you how it's important and how important it is to actually have the person that's in your plane flying it, which is your pilot. You better have the right people around you. And we're going to get into some theory, some boxing skills and drills and things, because a lot of you are going to watch this event this evening, and we're going to give you something very, very thick to hold on to. So listen to this last 15 seconds of Mike Tyson, and make sure you check in and let me know exactly where you're watching from on the planet Earth today. Check it out.
You were his age, and that would excite you to train him. Like if he was so excited about it and so dedicated and driven and talented, and you felt like he would do everything you told him to do, and he would.
And you can see Joe is breaking it down. If you found that fighter who would do anything you said, and he would allow you to navigate his plane, would you train him? Listen to this comment.
Listen to you.
Listen. You know how special you have to be a trainer?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't care how great you are as a fighter. I don't care how great you are as a skier, but you know how great you have to be a trainer? You have to be, it takes more to be a great trainer than to be a great fighter.
It takes more to be a great trainer than a great fighter. And the rest of that conversation is crazy. The Joe Rogan Experience 1805 at the 13-minute mark, right at the 14-minute mark. It's a great conversation. But today we're going to give you something that you can use, because I love the fact that I have learned for over 4 decades on the true importance of knowing styles versus postures versus who's the individual that needs to do this kind of thing that most people don't know how to put together inside of the boxing ring. They try to learn, they try to develop skills, they talk a lot of shit, but they can't fight because they're confused. Every time they learn something, they see something different. So what we're going to do is get directly into skills. Who is styles, particular styles, who are they for? And how do you know where you fit when you're developing yourself as an athlete? And that's what we're going to talk about. And not only that, is I'm going to give you something that you can actually use yourself today. And it's a gift from us. And I thought it would be great. We went through a lot of trouble to make sure that you did not have any further confusion when it came down to knowing what style you are. I remember growing up, and we used to be on the block in the hood, and I would used to go up to this street. It's called Lane Street. There was probably more people murdered on this street than any other street in America. I mean, you got to go somewhere like Compton or Baltimore, Harlem, the Bronx. I mean, it's only like 5 streets, but this street was so profound. And I knew when I was young, I wanted to get my badge of honor by doing something that I like to do. And by nature, I just like to fight because it was something that was just in me to do, like naturally. So maybe you like boxing because you are a fighter, really. You just didn't do it professionally. You just didn't take it as a career choice, but you like to do it just as much as anybody. That's available. That's there. So I would like to go to the hood and challenge, or have a friend of mine challenge someone to challenge me. And then I would box their lights out. But guys picked up on that. They're like, if you want to fight somebody, it's a very likely chance that you know how to fight. And this is where, when you learn how to box, it helps you understand who you truly are as an army soldier. As a soldier, are you the person that they put on the front line because he wants all the smoke? And this is how you understand your style. You see, I'm going to break it down in pillars for all of you who are new to the channel. So if you're new to the channel, I like to kind of set things up so it's really clear when you're talking about people like Mike Tyson and you're talking about the skill set of a young fighter who's coming up, who's really worked hard, in Jake Paul. But when you talk about these styles, when you're practicing in your garage or in front of your mirror or in your bedroom, wherever you do your thing at, when you're getting to the place where you're trying to display it and you're looking at yourself and you're just like seeing someone else and you're like, how did they get that style? Mike Tyson, and I'm gonna break down how he actually developed the style of peekaboo, right? He was taught peekaboo, and the peekaboo isn't this. Just so you know, that's called windshield wipers. Peekaboo is the act of looking between your defense. So whether it's here, peeping between the gloves, that's why it's called peekaboo. Peekaboo. Or if it's literally between the forearms, and that's called the turtle shell, but it's also labeled as the peekaboo because the methodology is the exact same. So a lot of you are calling the wrong thing the peekaboo because it has nothing to do with your torso. All right, those are just the defensive tactics that people like Mike Tyson put together that made what his basic skills, because all you're seeing from Mike Tyson is a lot of basic skills that have been worked on so diligently that it shows up in his style. See, styles is not what you do, but how you do it. Have you ever seen someone, you were in school and you were walking and they were walking towards you, or if you were at work and you seen a person walk and you knew exactly who it was, not because you could see their face, but you could tell the algorithm in which they moved. See, that's the style they operate on. That's the algorithm they operate, and you can identify it. And so whenever you have that, this is exactly how you develop yourself in the style. You learn all of the fundamentals and the basics, right? So here I'm going to take you into chapter 1 of this beautiful thing that we put together so that you guys would have something to reference. And I'm talking about, this is a real thing. So when you open it up, this is exactly what it says. And then I'm going to talk to you about how to know what style actually identifies itself in the mirror for you. That's what you're going to learn now. So this is basically drawn to dominance. See, once you follow the basic process of boxing, and then see this book right here, it's just the art of sparring. It's the science that goes behind a real sparring system, which most people don't understand it actually does. The only people that actually win at high levels in boxing are people that got generational wealth and knowledge, because it's a system. Like, you don't go outside and say, I'm going to go make a Mercedes-Benz. Okay. They have an assembly line, and that assembly line is built up through probably started out on a cue card, index card, and then it went from pencil to index card to paper to book, ink, and then it's a system now. They have the entire assembly system, and a system is something that you do every single day the exact same way. And that's what you have to do when you're learning sparring. So this book right here not only teaches you the techniques and drills that you got to do, but it also shows you how many rounds you will need to do it to acquire the actual skill set. Because most people understand when we talk about, there are 3 reasons why fighters lose. And number one is incompetence, lack thereof skill, or the cachet in the corner. You don't know how to make adjustments, or you lack the skill in order to call for it. And this is a thing that most trainers don't really have. Like, you don't go to class on how to be a good trainer. You either pass that torch or you are just figuring it out on your own. And it's a very, very rough ride if you don't have someone to speak to you like Teddy Atlas had 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝗆. I got to have people like Coach Adams and Coach Bradley and, you know, the George Bentons and the 𝗙cie Moore family and the entire uplines of Matthew Saad Muhammad. Like, I was surrounded by great minds who believed in me, even the Zell family, Tony Zell. Like, to have access to the note cards that this guy wrote like this on index cards and things like that. Thanks, Ted Zell. It's, you know, I can't possibly begin to tell you how that separates you from the rest of the pack. And so that's why we want to make sure we always give you guys something that's really dope that you can hold on to, that's comprehensive. But slow down, Joker. Boxing is real. So when you see these athletes and these trainers, they take losses because they haven't been coached on how to be a coach. They learn how to teach different techniques and styles. But what you have to think about is, what is the actual process of developing an athlete, not by skill, but by process. Okay. Number of rounds. So that's what this was for. This is the art of fighting, formerly known as the art of sparring. But you need to know how many rounds to embed this muscle memory into this fighter, especially with those very, very tricky areas like against the ropes and learning how to work the ropes and learning how to get out of corners and set traps. And so all of that kind of thing, all of those kind of skills and tactics are in that kind of training, because you have to know what to do when you're developing young athletes or professional fighters. They need to know how to go and set up smokers so you can get a different kind of smoke and stop sparring the same damn guys at your stinking gym. You don't understand there is a process and there's a method in which you develop a smoker so that it's a consistent thing. It's not just, oh, well, we did a smoker last year. Like, no, it's a part of the developmental system. So when Mike Tyson says, you know how special a trainer has to be for the fighter, you don't want to be the reason why the fighter loses. So get out your own way, because nobody gave you the playbook, but I'm about to go through it. So this is drawn to dominance. And this is how you actually get there. This is how Mike got there. And this is how you're going to learn how to develop your style. Fundamentally sound, all of your basics must be. Because when you watch the peekaboo, that's all you're looking at. Is you're just looking at refined basics. And when he's fighting, he's taking to the body, boom. You can go into a gym and you can see the guy sparring and you can see exactly what it takes to do it the right way. But it's hard to do it because you're anxious and you start. So in chapter 1, this is the history. It's going to teach you the origin. You can see that right here. This is going to give you the origin behind the peekaboo style of boxing, which later continued to evolve the exact same way basic boxing evolved. From prize fighting, knuckling up with bare knuckles, to wraps, to leather, then gloves, then puffiness when it came down to the gloves, the 8s, the 10s, the 12s. And that was a progression, but that's how you have to develop. So chapter 2 is going to go directly into Mike Tyson and the peekaboo style. And right here, now, I don't know if you guys are new to the channel, but I'm pretty sure it ain't every day that the person that operates the channel is reading to you the book that they're going to give to you just because they want you to know. I don't want shit from you. All I want you to do is know boxing. Know it, not think you know it, not assume, not go in there and get your head knocked off your shoulders. But it's your own damn fault, because I'm giving you the playbook, literally the playbook. And I will tell you exactly how you get it down in the comment boxes, or I'll tell you, because if you're on Facebook and Instagram, all you need is a keyword. And you know, we set that up so you slack rascals will do it the right way and take the easy way out. So chapter 2, the Mike Tyson and the peekaboo style. This is how it's breaking down, right? The making of the legend. Now, what made Mike Tyson so unique is, first of all, I studied him before I ever got into the sport. Like, I studied him because he had a great trainer as a mindset, as a mentor. That was as interesting as just watching him knock guys out. The origin of the story, the developmental processes. He taught them things about psychology, the psychology of boxing. Like, everybody has a plan until you get hit, but when you get hit, that's the time not to panic. These were words directly out of the mouth of 𝗙cie 𝗃𝗍𝗆. You don't allow yourself to panic. Get hit, suck it in, roll it off, because guess what? The worst has already happened. Worse will happen if you don't react. Don't think, react. That's where muscle memory comes into play. See, whenever you see fighters get hit and they get rocked, or get hit and they get dropped, and they hit the ground and they hop back up. Let's go back to 𝗬𝗵𝗄𝗃 𝗙𝗐𝗄𝗃. Get hit, get dropped, jump back up. Neurological knockdown, because he doesn't have his legs. That means no circulation is going to the lower extremities of his body. And when you don't have extremities blood going to the lower extremities of the body can't stand up. It's not that you're hurt. It's just you have no fluid going down to your legs, and you're going to fall on your face, and you have no control over that. And that's why you have to understand how to knock a person out and how not to be knocked out. And that's why you have these shirts right here. Each one of them give you the principles of boxing. The first one says, you got to make sure you keep your head off the line. Head off the line. Each one, this one says feet at 12 and 2. This one says tuck your chin. This one say elbows in tight. And the other one is bend your knees. And at the end, the first 25 people who download that free book will get this whole set of shirts that only people in our school have. And the reason why we're doing that is because we don't want you to not know shit about boxing when you think you do. And I don't really give a shit about how long you've been training. Training doesn't end. I've been doing it for 4 decades. Okay. And the greatest boxing minds. And if you ever want to get it to this level, understand how you will develop yourself into that next level trainer, that next level fighter, the enthusiast who just wants to use boxing so somebody won't step to him no matter where he's at. He can defend himself and bring the smoke. So he refined his styles, as we were talking, based on understanding those principles right there. Basic stuff. Bend your knees, tuck your chin, elbows in tight. Look at that. That's the stance. You know why? Because that's basic boxing. And now I'm going to explain to you the importance of knowing how to get to the place that when you are a fighter, how do you know what type of style you should actually implement? Okay. Here's how you do it. You think about your actual temperament, because the ring will tell the truth about your fucking ass. Believe it or not, you'll know who you are when you get in the ring. You're either a guy, when you see the other guy, you're ready to run through the ropes to get to his ass. Then when you have that kind of a temperament, that's a different kind of animal. But if you have a guy, when you go out there, you're thinking, you're plotting, you're setting traps. See, that's another style of a mindset. So I'll give you the actual blueprint of how you choose what style to use when you're either or either of the other one. Okay, so let's say when you get into the ring like Mike Tyson, and people said he would get into the ring and he has this ball of fury because he's taught by his trainer how to channel it. But he goes in there fully mad. That's why it's okay when a guy like that has anger and frustrated and pissed, because his style is offense. He doesn't take a backward step. He's all about bringing smoke, and he's all about bringing it to you. He's going straight down your throat, no chaser. That is how and why the peekaboo style of boxing was developed, for the kind of fighter that's all about throwing hard punches, making you miss, and you can finish the sentence in the comment boxes, and making you pay for throwing. Shame on you. This is how we set this whole conversation up. Understanding who you are. Stop trying to be a guy that you're not, because now I'm going to break down, before I tell you about the other style, how do these things come about when you're developing and learning how you should be and operate inside of the boxing ring. Okay, you have to realize that postures are these things. Postures are the method in which you hold either your opponents off or put yourself in a position to throw the punches harder. Postures. Get into the pocket. These are postures. No one calls the posture a style if you understand boxing textbook wise. Textbook wise, this is not the 𝗕liche style of boxing. You're in the 𝗕liche, and however you operate in that thing is your style. James Toney used the 𝗕liche rolling shoulder in his style, because the rolling shoulder was the more dominant part of his shell. So when he would get in the pocket, boom, bam, his whole objective was to counter you with that big right hand and left hook to the body or overhand. Floyd Mayweather got into the pocket, pop that jab out of that joint, set you up, set traps, one shots under, one to the body, bam. But his style was staying on his back foot. James Toney wasn't a fighter that fought off of his back foot when he was in the pocket in the shell. His thing was to get you throwing something, so he can hit you with the counter right hand. That's the difference between styles and postures. Just because a guy is framed up like that, that does not mean that's his style. That just means he's in that posture for a moment. And that's the difference. Now, when you are a person that's not just in the posture, but you are stylistically fighting that way. When you look at great fighters, like I love Jersey Joe Walcott, because how he fought, that was his style. He was rolling, just like Dwight Muhammad Cowie, guys who roll. Their style was to roll on you, right? The Buzzsaw, that's the coldest name. The Camden Buzzsaw. Because it's obvious why they would call him that, because that's what he would do. He was just buzzsaw you. He would roll on you. Jersey Joe Walcott walked across the ring, grunt walked across the ring, sidestep Ezzard Charles, bam, good night, sweet prince. Knocked him down twice with one punch. He got up for the nap and went back down. Like, that's what you call rolling on someone. That's his style of boxing. You have to earn the word style and stop using it so loosely. Peekaboo isn't a style unless you're Mike Tyson. Okay? When you saw Jose Torres, when you saw people like Floyd Patterson, you were like, yeah, he got a good style. But when you saw Tyson, you were like, that's his style. When you saw the Philly shell, you're like, a lot of guys used it, but then you said Floyd owned it because he was known and noted for being in that styling in it. Even when you seen him do like this, you would call he's still in the Philly shell because that's the style he delivered that posture in. He fought out of that thing. Like that's what he did. And he changed postures. He'd go high guard, he'd go out range, he'd go low pocket, he'd go cutie style. All of these things are methods in which you do it in. Michael Jackson, when he danced, he didn't dance like you. He danced in his style. Doesn't matter what kind of routine he was doing. When you see Michael Jackson's move, you know his style. I don't care if the dude is in China, 4'4". When you see a dude move, you know he's doing Michael Jackson's style. So understand in boxing, there are finite line items, and this is where you'll learn a lot of these things that you actually don't know, and we are actually giving it to you. So we thank you for taking the time to hang around. If you are in this thing and you want to get this and use it for yourself and learn, just type the word legend, because in this style, in this book, is the science behind becoming a legend. And if you're a trainer, you know, the key thing that I tell all trainers is this. Trainers love to have it to use, and fighters love to use it. Okay? So anything that makes you better and feeds your intellect, you take it. Because I'm older than all of you cats that's watching this thing. And if you're older than me, you damn sure ain't in boxing no more, training or nothing. So there's that. But I tell you, you use this thing right here and you will burn the shit down to the ground. So you type the word legend. Now I'm going to tell you one thing. If you're over on YouTube and I see it popping up on the screen. If you're over on YouTube, we have to find you. And I'm going to make sure that our admin get you the link to go directly to that, because there's no actual operative AI that's working on YouTube. I don't know why they don't have that yet. But if you're on Facebook and you're on Instagram, you can type legend and go to your inbox, you lazy freaking dude, and then just utilize this. This is great. This will be your greatest piece. You'll stop. I love looking through this thing. Damn, it's dope. You know what? I ain't giving y'all shit. No, y'all get it. I'm joking. This is crazy, man. This is your damn Christmas present from Master Boxing. Don't ever say we ain't gave you nothing. All right? Use this thing and abuse it. Sit back, grab you some coffee or some juice. Get one of those juices that Jolie made yesterday and get you some time after the fight tonight and enjoy that book. And just know the first 25 people that download it will get these shirts. Like I said, let me show you again. Boom. The dope shirts, and they dope because these are the ones you see me wear on camera when I be looking so awesome down here in South Florida. And yeah, that's what happens. You have the basics all over all your gear. And so, hey, hopefully if you like our channel, if this was your first time, that you had a lot of takeaway and you understand the difference between styles and postures, because postures are momentary techniques that you'll use, their tactics and things of that nature. When you're in a style, it's the method that you are actually operating in your algorithm. That's when you've reached your comfort level of that skill set. Don't get them confused, because doing the peekaboo doesn't mean you're in the peekaboo style. It just means you're using a posture to get yourself out of a situation. So understand, that's one of the reasons why you haven't seen anyone else come around and do Mike Tyson's style, because that's Mike Tyson's style. He's just using peekaboo postures every once in a while. Master your science, master the basics, and you'll find out very soon that was the difference between you being mediocre, meaning you don't stand out, in you becoming one of the biggest figures in the sport of boxing, whether you teach it, whether you talk it, or whether you actually fucking do it. That's all I got. Stay tuned for tonight. We will do a prediction show with former world champion, my man, Otis Griffin in the building. Special shouts out to you, brother. And all of you guys, thanks for taking the time to subscribe and hang out with us over here at Master Boxing. You know what I'm saying? All we trying to do is make sure that we bring the fight game from there to here. Let's level it up for 2025 and get ready, coaches. We're about to level you guys up. Be blessed. And thanks again. And we'll get all these people who drop comments. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to get to them, but I can answer them later. But it's fight day. Let's go. Type legend and follow for more.